how is it that you think that you can go from being a bad employee? I'm talking about somebody that calls off work, somebody that makes excuses to show up on time for work.
Talk to them.
You know what I mean? You can't be a bad employee and think that you're gonna say, yo, I want to be my own boss. Working a job ain't for me. How you think that you're going to just go and be your own boss? So now you think you're going to show up for yourself when you didn't show up for a job?
Right.
You think that you're going to make more money than the job will pay you and you're not willing to put in the work? Like, you got to understand that being a boss or being an entrepreneur and being a business owner, you're going to put in more hours than you put in at the job. Stagnation causes procrastination, and procrastination is the death, and it keeps you in poverty. So if you're looking to get to the next level, you got to surround yourself with people that's at the level that you're looking to go, so that way you can level up in life and be just like this here.
What's up, family? I'm Shaniqua Nicole, the Millennial Money Maven, editor-in-chief of Black Wealth Weekly magazine, and your host of this week's podcast. I'm here today joined by my brother, King Dion Coopwood.
Yep.
Out here killing it in these streets. So please introduce yourself to the people.
Got you. Like she said, Dion Coopwood, a.k.a. Mr. Phenomenal Power. I am your mindset and financial literacy coach. So I literally just show people how to just get to the bag, man. We're talking about how to achieve a 700 credit score and 100K in funding in less than 100 days. So that's what I do. I'm here to get the people the game.
Yes, listen, the first time that I met this king, he was like, look, first of all, he bringing the plays off jump, okay? So he like, look, y'all want some business credit? Here go a link, boom, pre-qualification. Let's see what you get. I got qualified for, I think it was like $15,000 or $20,000 credit line.
That's crazy.
No hard pull.
Let's go.
So listen, I know that you're out here helping people get to the bag and seeing your students' testimonials is really the bag. You know what I'm saying? But before you got here, before you learned about credit, start teaching credit, tell us a little bit about what you used to do and, what brought you into this space of entrepreneurship.
I think it's a factor that I've always liked money and understanding how money worked. And so I wanted to just get into something where it was around money and salesy. Like, I like dealing and working with people. And so when I graduated college, the first and only job that I've ever had, I worked at Sprint. And I was there for 7 years, and I sold cell phones.
After college?
After college.
What'd you go to college for?
Basketball. I went to college for basketball. So I actually went to college and I got a sociology degree.
Okay.
And this is just dealing with people, just working with people, dealing with people. I just always like communication and just, socialize and always I'm a social butterfly. I don't care where I'm at and what I'm doing. Like, I was at the store the other day. No, matter of fact, not the other day. When I was in Vegas on Memorial Day weekend, my wife was and she's always amazed by my actions, but I was watching an older gentleman trying to come up and down the stairs, and I was just inclined to just help him with all of the stuff that he had. Imagine, we're in Vegas, it's hot, and he's struggling, and so I'm like, he's an older gentleman. I'm always just trying to help people and socializing and telling them to have a good day and stuff like that. And so, going to college, I didn't think that I was going to actually go to college because, being from the south side of Chicago, being raised in a single, family home and my mom, having 4 kids and trying to do the best that she could, I didn't even really know and understand what college was. You got to think about it. We talking about in the 90s, I'm trying to go to grammar school, then go to high school. College wasn't like the thing like that, right?
Yeah.
And so just growing up, basketball, I was good at basketball. And so basketball was that segue that kind of introduced me to college and going to actually college and, figuring it out. So basketball took me through college. I got a full scholarship. I went to Southern Illinois University.
Nice.
Played there and played in the Sweet 16. It was very fun times. But, like everything, all good things must come to an end.
Yeah.
And so graduated and life hit me.
Yeah.
And that was in 2008. And so with you, I know you kind of like do real estate. You understand and know that in 2008, that's when like the economy was crashing. And it was like, so now I'm graduating college.
In the worst economy.
In the worst economy ever. Like nobody wants to hire. So the only opportunities you had was like a sales role. Like they always hire for sales.
Let me ask you this. What did you think you were going to do with the psychology degree? What was your plan? Because I think that's a big thing. We have to be more strategic about choosing our majors, choosing what we decide to go to school for, because it's like, okay, I'm going to school for English, psychology.
Yeah.
What did you think you were going to do with that degree before you got out of college?
To be honest, I was clueless.
Yeah.
But I felt like I was just going to have a good paying job. I said I wanted to make 6 figures. and I just wanted to drive a BMW, and I wanted to take care of whatever family I had. That's just what it was. I know I'm gonna work for a good corporation. I know I'm going to make some good money, and that was just it. I didn't know where or who, because like the economy was bad. So I'm like, as long as I can graduate, I can figure the rest out. So I didn't know what, but I just knew that I wanted to work a job where I thought I was gonna be wearing like a suit every day.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna be pulling up and just working a good job and making good money. That's all. I didn't know what exactly, because again, I didn't really have like no guidance. I didn't really have like a mentor. I didn't have nobody like showing me the way. And so I just had to kind of try to like figure it out.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell me, when it comes to your family lineup, where do you fall? Your mom has 4 kids.
Oldest of 4.
Oldest of 4.
Oldest of 4.
I'm the oldest of 8, bro. I get it.
You see what I'm saying? And so I just had to like just be that example. And so just graduating with that degree, I was like the first in my family to do a lot of stuff. Like the first to really go to college, the first to graduate from college, the first to actually get a degree. And it's just like all of these firsts, I think it say something on the screen. I don't know. It say cart full or something like that. I don't know. So just to help y'all out. But, just kind of going to college and being the first to get that, all I really wanted to do was just really just put myself in a position where I could be a good example. It didn't matter what I did, because I know that I'm going to commit first and figure the rest out later. I just wanted to be a good example for, my mom, and then for obviously the siblings that was following. I took a job that was really the only job that was available. Nobody was hiring. The economy was terrible. And so I just made a commitment. I prayed about it. I told God, I said, if I could land a gig and, provide for myself and my family, because you got to think about this too. When I graduated in May, and then that following July, my daughter was born. So now
the pressure is on.
I was thinking that all this time you go through college, you playing basketball. Most basketball players, we think that we're gonna go to the NBA. That's the mindset and the thought process. So I did have some offers to go play basketball overseas, but what ended up happening was I had a daughter, and I decided that I wanted to be around for my daughter so she can obtain her goals and dreams, and I gave all mine up.
Wow.
I said I just want to be here for my baby, because my biological father, he passed away last year, and I never had a relationship with him.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I didn't know him, but didn't have a relationship with him. I met him like 4 or 5 times. The last time I seen him, I was like 12, 13 years ago. And at that time, I'm a grown man. I'm in the casino gambling. He in the casino gambling. It's just like we run into like, hey, what's going on? And there was no real relationship.
Wow.
And so for me, I'm like, if I ever become a parent, I want to make sure that I provide the best opportunity for my children, and I actually want to be a part of their life rather than just being a piece of their life. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? Now I graduated. Now I got a baby here. I'm like, I gotta figure this.
Real.
Life is real. And see, my college coach, he told me this. He was like, y'all better take advantage of all this good lifestyle y'all got, because when y'all graduate, nobody gonna care.
Right.
Like I went from signing autographs to applying for as many jobs as I possibly could.
Right.
In a 12-hour day, and I was just trying to figure it out. So, yeah, working at Sprint, it definitely was. It was interesting. I think that it actually it put me in position to understand and know where I'm currently at now. It prepared me and groomed me for what you see today.
Yeah.
So when I went, and I'm talking about having to work a job and having to like go there and be on time, having to perform, because now when you got a sales job, you got to perform at a whole different level. Like you can't just like go there and like just sleep on a job or halfway perform. When you go to a sales job, either you're gonna perform or they getting rid of you. So I had to go in there and literally like, I was the #1 sales rep, went from that to #1, assistant manager to #1 store manager, like #1 dish. Like I went like up the ranks #1 because I never wanted to be on the end of having a conversation about being terminated or not having a job.
Right.
And so also at the same time, I came into a job with discipline from playing basketball. So now you got the maturity of a basketball player, the discipline of a basketball player, and then I had to hurry up and grow up coming out of college, so I had a baby. You see what I'm saying? So I became a man like overnight.
Right.
And then...
And embraced it. Sounds like you embraced it. And I think that's the biggest part. I feel like a lot of times when we're in those transitionary periods, people want to run away. People want to run away and slow down and figure things out. But success loves speed.
I'm finna tell you why I embraced it. For me, and this is weird, I'm finna give y'all a fun fact about me. when negative or bad things or challenging things happen to me, this is when I thrive the most. So like you said, where if somebody have a child, they like go run in the corner and like say, I don't know what I'm going to do.
They want to be safe.
Yeah, they want to be safe. Like I perform the best in chaotic moments. Like I'm the person that's going to bring the chaos together and make it make sense.
Yes.
Like, so for me, like when things happen, like deaths in the family, you know, child being born, like just anything that's difficult, I like those moments because now I get to strategically think about how I'm going to perform within this moment in order to get the best outcome for not only just me, but anybody that's around me.
Absolutely.
This is why you said, oh, I love the results that you seeing from your mentees and stuff, is because my thing is I'm a servant leader. I'm going to figure out the best way possible for everybody to win on the highest level possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so when I had to graduate and I had to figure it out and become an overnight, you know, like responsible person, I'm like, I told the store manager when I got the job, when she hired me as a rep, this was May 11, 2009. So, you know, I if I could spit out the date, you know, this is
my son's birthday.
This is real. You know what I mean? I told the store manager, I said, you don't have to interview me. I said, just give me the job, hire me. I'm going to be the best thing that ever happened to you.
Wow.
And you could call her to this day. Her name is Stephanie Bruce. She would tell you, she was like, God sent you to my store.
Wow.
I was in the store and I'm like, I need to get my phone fixed. And in there getting my phone fixed, anybody who knows Sprint, y'all know Sprint. When you go on Sprint, you got to see that. It was like, we called it Club Sprint. You would stand there for hours. So I'm in there just waiting on my phone like, what a store manager? I need a job anyway. I'm like, I'm getting my phone fixed. I need a job.
Club Sprint.
You know what I'm saying? And so, man, it was just a situation where she said, okay, if you that serious, I do need a rep and I'm a hire. And so that day changed my life forever because it gave me the sales experience. It gave me the responsibility. It gave me the leadership experience because literally I had worked that job for 8 months. Like when I worked there for 8 months and they said, you about to run this store. And I'm like, who running what store?
Right.
I'm like, I'm a kid.
How old
like,
were you? Yeah.
At that time, I was like in my early 20s, 21, 22, 23. Like I'm just trying to figure life out. Like you want me to manage. And then there was people in there that was 40 years old, 50 years old. I got to manage these older people. But the reality is that when I took over in that role, it wasn't difficult, and they actually gravitated towards me because I was already like leading them and leading by example. So it was easy for them. You know, it was an easy transition. Yeah.
Love it. So how long did you stay with Sprint?
I was there for 7 years. And they started having some changes, some merger acquisitions. With they merged and took over U.S. Sailor, and then T-Mobile they had a lot of stuff going on. So T-Mobile had recruited me for like 14 months to come there. Because when I was at Sprint, like my last few years there, I was their #1 store manager nationwide.
Got you.
So with me being
let's pause for a little bit, right? Because I want to ask you some numbers. You know I'm an accountant.
Come on, go ahead.
You know I like the numbers.
Come on, let's talk.
So you first got out of college, you're working at Sprint.
Yep.
What does that look like, right? So you essentially came in there and they said, look, this guy's a star.
Yep.
We put him on a pathway to management,
yep.
right?
Yep.
So, any management can see that and notice that. What did that look like for you from a compensation perspective? Yeah,
so when I first started, this was May 11, 2009. When I first started there, they hired me, I was making $10 an hour. But there was $10 an hour plus commission. So I had the ability to, again, perform and make commissions. And so my mindset, I'm like, I want to get to the point where I can make over $75,000 a year. This is like my first job. I don't really know, but I'm like, I got to get to 6 figures. This is what I'm thinking as a kid with no coach, no mentor, nobody training me and trying to help me understand. So I said, I got to at least get to 6 figures. I said, this first year, let's at least do 75. So I broke down the math. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm making $10 an hour. I need to make at least about a good $5,000 a month. I'm like 5 times 12, that's 60 plus my 10 times, so that's 20,000. Okay, cool, I can do this.
There you go.
So I stayed at work. I was working like 60 hours a week just to make sure that at the end of every single month,
you hit your numbers.
My commission check was $5,000 at least. Then when they said, we want you to be a manager, I didn't go straight to store manager. I went to what's called a key holder position. And they paid me like an extra $2, which was like $12.50. Then I went to what's called a lead position, and it was at like $15 an hour. Then I went from a lead to assistant store manager, which was like maybe $18, $19 an hour. Then I went to store manager, and I man you, my first 8 months, they said, we're going to make you a manager, which was basically like key holder. So I went from like key holder, in this 8 months, I went from key holder to lead to assistant manager to store manager, 8 months. That's not realistic stuff.
Right, for normal people.
Like you literally got to be on the job for like a year or two before you even get some keys to a store to be able to open and close. Key holder you got the same pay pretty much, but you got the responsibilities of a manager where you got to open the store, close the store, manage the store. So you really like not getting paid. You like a glorified manager without the pay. You like, you know.
See, my problem,
She said, oh, bro.
My problem was I was the kid, you know, in my 20s, like, what you're not going to do is give me more responsibility and no money.
Correct.
That's what you're not going to do.
Yeah.
But I love that you embraced it.
Yeah.
It took you, you know, to the place where you were able to hit your goals.
Yeah.
7 years later, what were you making when you left Sprint?
All right. So before I give them that, I want to give them this. You got to remember, coming out of college, I wanted to make 6 figures. So my mindset and my vision was set on 6 figures. So I'm like, I was understanding of the fact that I need to make this short-term sacrifice for long-term gratification. Mm-hmm. Most people not willing to give up something to get something. So I always, one of my main things I ask people is, what are you willing to give up to go up? So I was willing to give up the income for this time to be able to put myself in position to actually go up and be the guy, the store manager, the people that everybody was like, yo, like you made it and you finally did it. So I went through the process and I was a sales rep and I went through the growing pains and the responsibility time frame to become that manager, right?
Right.
So then once they said, yo, now you at the store manager position, now it's time to negotiate. So my base salary as a store manager was about $85,000. So they like, yo, we're going to pay you this to run this store. Mm-hmm. But then you got to remember, as a store manager, now I'm not getting paid off of what I sell. I'm getting paid off what the store sells.
Gotcha.
So now I'm like, yo, I'm doing the math again. I'm like, yo, okay, I'm managing like 22 people. If I could get all of these people to hit X amount of many numbers, I can make this amount of commission.
Right.
I can make sure my commission check is this. I can make X amount of many dollars a year. So now I'm like, yo, let me just at least make 125 a year. I'm cool with that.
Right.
I'm making 80 that's a layup. I already got.
Listen, you don't got to work for that.
Yeah, like the $40 an hour, that's locked in. I ain't worried about that. But this extra, I need an extra $20 an hour. How can I make this happen? So what I would do is I'm going to give you a secret to what I did. And probably to this day, my assistant manager knows. But my sales rep, they never knew that when I was getting the goal from the big guy up top, when they hand out the goals, what I would do is I would take the goal. And because again, if we aim for something, normally we hit like right below it, right? Mm-hmm. But they say if you aim high, if you miss it, then you land on the clouds and it's still cool. So you got to aim for the stars, right? So when they would give me my goal, I would take it and I would double it. Mm. I always call myself Mr. 200% because I'm trying to hit 200% to go. But here's the crazy part. Let me tell you this, man. So I had already took the goal and I had already doubled it. So I'm giving it to my team. They don't even know that I've doubled their goal. Right. So let's just say their goal was 10 new customers a month. So that's like 1 new every other day. Right. So now I doubled that and I told them they needed to do 20. But then I'm telling them your goal is 20, but I want you to double it.
You telling them to double it.
Now I'm telling them to double a goal that's already doubled.
So it's quadruple.
So we quadruple it. So now instead of them doing 20 for the month, now I'm telling them do 40 for the month. Wow. So I'm like, I need y'all working about 20 days a month.
So you put the pressure on them.
I need you to just do 2 new customers a day.
Right.
So they trying to figure out how is it that how is it that I became number 1? Well, psychologically, I put it in my team, man, that not only do they doubling, they thinking that they double the goal, that it's already double, they quadruple it. So their performance is based on quadruple.
Wow.
So when other store managers are looking at the performance of my store,
they're like, how is he doing this?
How is he making how is this store manager blowing his goals out? How is his sales reps making 60, 70, 80? How is his sales reps? Why do they always want to stay at work? Why do nobody, like on their off days, they're like, boss, can I come in? Boss, can I kind of come in? Then I was doing incentivized stuff. Like I'm like, yo, whoever the top person in sales for the week, I'm going to give you a $100 gift card. So now they working for this gift card. Man. That's an incentive. Then I'm like, yo, whoever hit they double goal for the day, you can go home early. So now they all at the front. So when you come to my store, normally when you go in cell phone stores, the reps just chilling in the back. They relaxing. They just waiting on you to come to them.
Right.
My people at the front of the door like, yo, I got the next one. Don't play with, you know the next. They arguing. And I'm just sitting in the back like, This is good. This is good.
I love it.
You see what I'm saying? This is the environment that I created. Yeah. So now in the entire district,
I need to see you redo this environment. Okay. For a business not named Sprint, but a legacy business. Yes.
That's what we're doing right now.
Yes.
That's what we're doing right now.
I need to see it because that energy.
You see what I'm saying?
Listen, you just gave the corporations the cheat code.
I did. Don't.
They need to cut you a check right now. They need to cut you a check.
Don't put this out. You gonna put this on YouTube? No, but that's really what I did. That's
wow.
kind of happened. That's why I got to the point where being number one in the nation as a store manager out of I think it was 18,000 stores, whatever that number was. T-Mobile started recruiting me after 7 years. They was like, hey, yo, we need to go and get that guy. If y'all thinking that you work for a corporation and they don't have people that's called headhunters, where they go and steal people, the high-performing people, and bring them, you wrong. They watching.
Right.
They watching, And so what I will say, too, is that while people watching you, you need to watch yourself. Because normally what I tell people, normally the enemy is the enemy. Where we talking about the byproduct of what you're seeing today is somebody who went to work on time. I never called off. I worked every day. I worked on my off days. And so what I did was I mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually groomed myself for the success that I'm having today. And then also that it comes from the top down, where if the leader is doing it, then what do you think anybody else that's following this person is going to do?
Absolutely.
And then now it transitioned into entrepreneurship. But this is why, I was being recruited because they like, yo, he's doing things that we've never seen. The performance, the charts is crazy. Like, we need to get him here. And then when I went to T-Mobile, I did the same thing all over again. I don't know if they thought it was a joke. They thought it was a game.
Right.
But I left and went to Sprint. I went to T-Mobile. And
so what did they start you with? So you were starting at 85 base. What did they start you with when you left?
At T-Mobile, they started me at 95 base.
Did you negotiate or that's
I did.
Okay.
Yep. It wasn't even really like a negotiation. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm going to spill some beans. It's old now, but
it's all learning.
It's all learning.
This is to teach somebody else so they don't make the mistakes that we've made.
Correct. Now, what I would tell you is that I was in a fortunate position where I didn't have to negotiate because the person who had recruited me, he was the person that was managing all the managers at Sprint, and he went to T-Mobile.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
he knew how I was performing. So he said, just tell me what you want me to pay me and what day you want to start, and I got you. So I'm like, I'm not trying to be greedy or be ridiculous. I'm like, yo, just pay me more than what I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
And
you ain't know what to ask for.
I didn't really care.
Yeah.
I did because I was really particular about it. But my whole goal was to just go with a company that really I could continue to grow with. I feel like 7 years at a company, I feel like I should have been at a higher position than I was at. And I was like, yo, I need to go somewhere where, I'm not just tolerated. I'm actually loved, you know what I mean? And people really care about me and, want to pour back into me. And so I feel like the time at Sprint just, it ran out. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, 7 years, that's a long time.
It's a long time, man. That's a long time. But I tell people all the time, they always be like, I wish I could have got into entrepreneurship sooner. And for me, I don't. I appreciated the 7 years I gave Sprint and the 1 year I gave T-Mobile because it really helped me understand how to just manage myself and then manage and lead others. That experience, I can't take it back.
You can't duplicate that anywhere,
yeah.
Right? And when you're an entrepreneur, you're trying to figure yourself out.
Yeah.
So having that experience, learning that experience on somebody else's dime, man, that was valuable.
Yeah.
You can lead $1 trillion sales team. Companies will pay you hundreds of thousands of dollars to come in and train their salespeople.
Yeah.
Just with your mentality.
Exactly.
Just with your mentality. So even if you didn't want to start your own business or whatever, you can go and do consulting and teach salespeople all over the world your tactics.
But I don't understand.
That's fire.
How is it that people think that they could go from being, and this I want to talk directly to some people here today. How is it that you think that you can go from being a bad employee? I'm talking about somebody that calls off work, somebody that makes excuses to show up on time for work.
Talk to them.
You know what I mean? You can't be a bad employee and think that you're gonna say, yo, I want to be my own boss. Working a job ain't for me. How you think that you're going to just go and be your own boss? So now you think you're going to show up for yourself when you didn't show up for a job?
Right.
You think that you're going to make more money than the job will pay you and you're not willing to put in the work? You got to understand that being a boss or being an entrepreneur and being a business owner, you're going to put in more hours than you put in at the job.
Absolutely.
You don't even know where your next check is going to come from. So that means that you get to eat what you kill. But now if you're not out there hunting, there's no results.
You starve.
And so, again, people thinking that, yo, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I'm going to be a boss, I'm going to live life on my own terms. Well, you don't even understand what goes into it. You don't even understand, sometimes, when you running a business, you can't even be nice to everybody.
Right.
Everybody is not your ideal client. Now, if you're working at a job and people coming to you, those are the ideal clients because commercials and ads are being ran and these people are being attracted into the door. So they already coming for what you got.
Right.
And this is what I had to tell my team when I was manager. Like, the people are already coming for something. Sell them something else.
Right.
So now, when you think that you're going to become a biz owner and you working a job, if you can't wake up on time, if you can't go to work on time, like, if you can't, like, really, like, get over yourself, you can't be a boss.
There you go.
Like, being a boss don't mean that you get to work less hours. You got to work more hours. Being a boss don't mean that you get holidays off. You actually work on holidays.
Are we in church right now?
We somewhere. Because I want to help somebody because they think that when they look at Maven and they look at Dion, they say, yo, I want to be like you.
Listen.
Okay, well then you gonna have to put in the work. Like
be tired.
A lot of people, they get mad at the results that they not getting from the work that they not putting in. Like, you're not putting in the work. I'm here to tell y'all the only thing that work is work.
That's it.
You're trying to figure out the easy way, and you're trying to figure out if there's a cut short. If you try to take a cut short, all you're gonna do is end up cutting yourself short. There ain't no easy way. There ain't no easy button to this thing. You gotta put in the work. So when you see people putting in the work, you see a successful entrepreneur, they're making 6 figures a year, they're making 7 figures a year. The reality is that they put in the work and they were strategic about everything that they did. Every single day, there was an intention behind that day. They didn't just get up and just try to wing this thing. No, it was mapped out, just like the job. The job say, Shaniqua, we need you to come in Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. We need you to work this schedule. If you don't come, they fire you.
Right.
So if you're a business owner, why is it that you don't have a set schedule for you and your business?
Right.
Why you're not respecting that process and that schedule? How do you think that you're going to disrespect your schedule and then the process that go behind getting results? Or you don't even have a schedule. You don't have a list of things to do. And you think that you're going to get results. It don't work that way.
And this is why it goes back to your point. If you were a lazy employee, you're going to be a lazy entrepreneur. So,
period.
Y'all keep those jobs until you get ready, because this life ain't what you want if you ain't disciplined and if you're not ready.
Do not skip the next minute of this video because you're going to love what I got to share with you. Now, let's start with fact number 1. Fact number 1 is that 1 out of every 3 Americans have what's called either fair or bad credit. Fair or bad credit, right? That means that 1 out of every 3 people that you know cannot live the lifestyle that they want and they got to have because they don't understand how credit works. Fact number 2 is the biggest expense in life is what we do not know, guys. That means that if I don't understand financial literacy and how credit works, how can I take advantage of having good credit and obtaining good credit to go ahead and live the lifestyle that I want? Fact number 3, what I did was I created a like-minded community of individuals who not only were able to obtain excellent credit, they was able to obtain business credit, and they're able to take the exact same information that I taught them and do it for other people and make money while doing it. So this community I call individuals, I call this the happy community, right? This is a community of people that understands financial literacy and now they're living the lifestyle of their dreams. Right? So what I'm going to do for you guys, I'm actually going to host a free workshop where I'm going to go over the same information that I taught these individuals here, so I can take you from here all the way over here. So if you want to be a part of the happy community, text Metro2 to 74121 or just click the link below. Beat me there. Don't meet me there. Let's go.
So take us to your first year entrepreneurship.
Wow.
You had 8 years being an employee, fresh out of college.
Yeah.
You had an 8-year-old at this point. Right? She was about 8, 9 years old.
So yeah, that's about right. Yeah. Yeah.
So take us to life.
Wow.
When you had an 8-year-old.
Yeah. Okay, man. Had an 8-year-old in my first year entrepreneurship. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. I was like, I said, wait a minute. I mean, cause you got to think. I was making at that time. I was making like $130 a year, and if you do the math on that, you know, man, the checks was good. You know, we talking about like 5-figure take home a month.
On the job.
On a job.
Mm-hmm.
Like we talking about like 10 grand a month.
And
like,
this is you managing a T-Mobile store.
This is me managing multiple T-Mobile stores.
Because
they brought me in to be a district manager.
Gotcha.
So they're like, yo, we want you to come in. We want you to run this particular store. Like, you're going to own this store, but then we want you to help run these other stores as well. And we want you to eventually step into this DN role and, like, make it happen. So I'm like, okay. So this was like, I left there, and I'm like, yo, I think that if I could make $130 a year on a job, worst case, I could make that for myself a year. I'm like, I know I got it. But I'm like, if I can make that 1 year on a job, I'm like, I should be able to make that monthly. I should be able to pull this off.
Monthly?
So, yeah, monthly. Yeah, it was like my mindset was crazy because even at the job, I never had, the reason why I left, everybody's like, yo, you crazy, you out of your mind. You know, I'll line up from here to Mississippi for a job like that. For me, I just didn't have no fulfillment. So let me just help everybody understand and know that I left because Like even working a job, I was starting my own clothing line. I was doing this. I was doing entrepreneur stuff. Yeah, the stores was running. I had it figured out where I could do this stuff in my sleep. And so it was just a situation where the job didn't no longer make me feel good going there every day.
Yeah.
And then I always felt like anytime that I took a vacation, I needed a vacation from my vacation because I was working on my vacation. Like we had a laptop. And so the laptop went everywhere with me. So if I had an issue at the store, I had to open up the laptop and figure out what's going on, answer emails. And so it just really wasn't the best role. It was just like I was kind of like on a ball and chain. And so this first year in entrepreneurship, it was a struggle. It was a struggle. But what I will say is, again, I'm going to take everybody back. The experience that the job gave me made it easy. So what I did was I took the leadership experience that I had and that I was taught, that I was groomed for, and I took the experience that I had as a sales rep. I went back into my sales days and I got into my leadership bag. Whereas I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to figure this thing out. And so every single day, I worked 8 to 10 hours a day, like in my business.
Doing what?
And so at that time, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. And I'm just going to be transparent. Can I be?
Please do.
So I wasn't quite sure. And at that time, because I was a kid and I had a lot of money, I had some money saved, but I didn't have enough to really just like handle all of my expenses. And so like
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, like when I was working that job, making all that money, I was buying like designer, everything.
Let's talk about that because there is a road, right, where you have to, we work, and then we jump into entrepreneurship. When you left for entrepreneurship, were you in debt? Did you have a lot of money saved? Like you were making 6 figures for some years, and you were young.
Yep.
So, you would think that you have the opportunity to save a lot of money.
Not young.
Not young.
So I was doing what I probably shouldn't have been doing. I was partying a lot.
And we all were.
Yeah, I was partying a lot. But I was the guy that you go in the club and that's the section over there with all of the bottles and all that. You spending $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Like I was going to live on Sunday. I was flying to Miami, like at minimum every other month.
Wow, I love Miami too. When I was younger, it was one of my favorite places to go.
Still my favorite.
Is it?
Yeah, and it's just like I was flying there like every other month, and I would stay there for like about a week, and I would pay for like everything.
Everybody.
Yeah, it didn't matter. Like we going to the club, it's a 20. We in there.
Right.
We gonna get this $10,000 section, and so I was spending a lot of money. Just I was young. Yeah, I was just living, partying, having fun. And I was banned. Everything was designer this, designer that, and it just none of that stuff holds any value. I'm just going to say that none of it holds any value. So I gave majority of my shoes away. I gave majority of my clothes away. You talking about $300 pair of jeans? It just wasn't. It didn't make no sense the kind of stuff that I was doing.
Right.
When I look at it now, older and in hindsight, obviously now being married with 3 kids, it's. Like I would never, at this point.
So
in my
look
life.
at this. Like let's just think about it. Over those 8 years that you were working, you were making at least $100,000 a year. You made probably $1 million in those 8 years, right? And so a lot of times people think like, oh, I want to be a millionaire. I want to be a millionaire. That you got to make $1 million a day, $1 million a month, $1 million in a year. But over those short 8 period of years, you made $1 million.
That's crazy.
What did you have to show for it when you left and jumped into entrepreneurship?
You digging deep, ain't you?
I'm just asking the question.
No, I actually owned a house.
Okay,
I owned
awesome.
I purchased my first property when I was like 24, 25. So like a year after I got the job, I had purchased my own house. I went from renting to purchasing. I owned about 4 cars.
Yeah.
So yeah, who needs 4 cars? And it was crazy. The house that I bought, it had 2 driveways. So I had one driveway that went all the way to the back with a 3-car garage. And then I had a partial driveway that went to like the back of the house. So I got 2 cars in the garage. I got one sitting here. Then I got one on the. It's like, bro, why do you need a BMW, a Cadillac, a Grand Prix? Like, what you do? A Camaro? Why do you need these cars?
You was living life.
I was just living life. I had, more than one car note. I had a mortgage at the time, I had my daughter that I was taking care of, but then my daughter, when she turned 3, so for 5 years, I was traveling back and forth. So one month I was going to Atlanta because she moved to Atlanta with her mom. So one month I'm in Atlanta, the next month I'm in Miami. The next month I'm in Atlanta, the next month I'm in Miami. So I was traveling a lot, spending a lot of money. So once I actually went into entrepreneurship, I didn't have a lot of money. So I had probably about 10 grand saved, and I had about $40,000 in credit cards that I could use.
Right.
So my transition away from the job, really not being prepared.
Yeah.
I had $10,000 and $40,000 in credit cards that I could use, no debt.
Right.
So what I did was I leveraged that $40,000 in credit to literally like get me to the point to where I really was an entrepreneurship because I got my life insurance producer's license.
Okay.
And I was basically like hitting the pavement, door knocking, like door-to-door sales, door knocking, cold calling, pulling up to people's house, like selling life insurance. And so like the first like 4 to 5 months doing that, I didn't make $1.
Wow.
So we talking about this $10,000 I had saved, plus this $40,000 that I had in credit cards, like I had to discover it, and I had like 3 Amex. I used that to pay my mortgage, pay my car note, pay my bills.
Right.
So you know I know how to turn credit into cash. So I'm handling it. But it's like, yo, like I went like my first 4 or 5, almost a half a year, I didn't make no money as an entrepreneur.
Wow.
But I was working 50 to 60 hours a week and wasn't making no money.
Wow.
But then when the money came, the money came.
Gotcha.
Like when it started pouring, it was like 1,000 a week, 2,000 a week, 3,000. I'm like, yo, all right, this thing is working.
I saw your screenshots last week.
See what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing about what I do and nothing about what I say a fabrication or fallacy. Like, I don't have no fluff about my story.
So your first year in life insurance, what'd that look like? What'd you do? Like, what was your production?
So I got in and like...
Not first year, but like, let's just say an average year.
Yeah. So I got my license in October of 2016. So from October to October, I did October to May, June, July, August, September. It was like August. So from October of 2016 to August of like 2017, I did 110,000.
First year.
First year. I was like, yo, let's go. Like, I'm like, yo, like.
I could do this.
But I didn't really know what I was doing. I studied for an exam, went and got my license, and I started with my family and friends. None of them bought for me. So let me help somebody again. Your family, your friends are not your customers. They're not your clients. Everybody have what's called a client avatar. So unless you marketing to the right person, who you marketing to doesn't, like your family, don't get mad at your mama and your daddy just because they didn't buy your stuff.
Right. That doesn't mean they don't love you.
That's like if you buying wigs. Your daddy got to buy a wig. Like he's not your ideal client. Like, so people be getting mad like, yo. So I didn't look at my family and friends as an opportunity to make money. I looked at them as an opportunity to get in front of people that didn't know me, wouldn't judge me, and would look at me as a professional. Because see, even I went to my family house to get these referrals, I was going dressed up. I was like, yo, they're like, cousin, why you here with this suit on? I'm not your cousin today. Today we ain't gonna do cousin. You respect my job.
Listen.
When you come to my job, you ain't asking why I got on a suit and why I'm looking like I'm professional.
Right.
I'm professional. I'm pulling up to the house. I'm being professional. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Mr. Shaniqua? We not gonna do that.
Right.
I want you to take me serious.
Right.
This is how I'm making my money.
Listen, he is teaching y'all something right now.
You see what I'm saying? Like I'm pulling up and I'm like, I'm not looking for my cousin to buy a policy. I'm looking for my cousin to give me 20 referrals that now tomorrow I could call and say, hey, how you doing? I was at Shaniqua's house and she wanted me to sit down with you and go over the same financial information I shared with her. Is tomorrow or the following day a good time for you? You see how I just spit that out? This is what I was doing.
Right.
And they like, oh, my cousin Shaniqua? Yeah, that's my cousin. She won't just send anybody crazy to my house.
Right.
What's the address that I be coming to, Miss Nicole? Is it a house or an apartment? Is it going to be a blue or red car in the driveway? Your husband going to be there? Or is it going to just be you by yourself? I'm hammering the phone. 100 calls a week. I'm going crazy.
Bro, you need a sales training.
You know what I mean? Like this is the real me. This is the real me. And look, if y'all feel me, just drop let's go in the comments. I'm seriously, this is the real me. So I literally had to figure it out. And so once I figured it out, then I was with a multi-level marketing company. I'm not going to even say no names, but I built the organization. I built the organization in this company selling life insurance. I had over 100 agents nationwide. So now I'm at the point where like my second and third year, going into my second and third year, now I'm making 6 figures chilling because they selling policies.
Right.
I'm getting residual income. You know what I mean? So now.
So what do you think about the MLM? Because a lot of people look at the business of MLM as a scam, as a fraud.
Nah.
What do you think?
I like MLMs. I like MLMs because what it does is it gives a new business owner, it gives them some structure. Because what an MLM really does is it really gives you the headache. It takes away the headache of trying to put everything in place that it needs to run a business.
Yeah.
Like it takes away that heartache and that pain of you gotta run payroll and you gotta do this. You need the website. So they got it all done.
Yep.
They already got it done for you. And so all you gotta do is just plug yourself into the system and you good. It works from there. So that's essentially like I did an MLM, and it's crazy. So now we talking about going from working a job, being number one. Guess what position I was at the MLM?
Maybe number 1?
I was number one.
Okay.
I got I'm going to post this stuff on my story today for everybody. I literally went from working a job being number one to in the MLM selling life insurance. I was the number one producer.
Wow.
I was the number one life insurance producer. I had the number one what's called base shop. I was the number one life insurance overall producer. Like it was every category that you could potentially have a category for, I was number one in it. The only category that I didn't take was income because we had people in there was like 20, 30 years and they was making millions. Residuals. So that was it. I couldn't take that one, but every category I took number one. And I had a team, and so now I'm taking my team to these conferences that they put together, and it's like, yo, we going crazy. And we was, again, a good leader being number one all over again.
Gotcha. What made you leave? Because my understanding, especially when you have these legs and the MLM, you have a team that's working for you. Mm-hmm. What made you leave all of that income and potential income in that organization, or is the organization even still around? Yeah, the organization is still around.
Okay. I had got to a point to where what I was doing, I wanted to get into another facet of like financial literacy and financial services because that's considered financial services when you're doing life insurance and retirement planning. And it just got to a point for me where I just wanted to explore something different. And so I had ran into a good buddy of mine, and he offered me opportunity to start my own solar renewable energy company. And so at the same time while I was doing that, I was offering the homeowners that I was going to see the opportunity to go solar for their house, which is saving them some more money that they was essentially being able to reinvest into their policy and their retirement planning. And so at that time, this is crazy. Like I'm telling you,
y'all ain't even catch that one.
You feel what I'm saying? Like this is
y'all ain't even catch that. He's saving them money on their electricity, and then saying, look, let's take this money that you save on your electricity and let's invest that money.
It doubled my sales.
Listen, I love it.
So now here's what's crazy. Again, I'm being transparent. I'm going to just like give y'all the real, no fluff. The owner of that company, he didn't like the fact that I was offering something else. Mm-hmm. He was like, yo, like you the number one guy here. Like, what are you doing anything else? Like, because I was marketing on my social media, so they all watching. Like, so now everybody in the company was like, hey, can I do that too? So his mind, I guess his mind was like, yo, you're going to be taking over. Yeah, you're going to take everybody over there. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be offering solar in a minute because now when you look at the life insurance commission versus the solar commission, I was paying my people like $3-4 grand a house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? $3-4 grand a house? And so now you look at that, you compare that to like, let's just say.
You could have started your own MLM.
I did.
Okay.
I
good.
really did. Yeah. I had my directors. It was crazy. Like we was running, the bag was crazy.
Right.
Like the bag, like we talking about you doing a house. I'm talking about we making like 10 to 15, 20 grand a house. Like the bread was the money was crazy. So the money was good. So we made good money there, but it just came to a point where he didn't like the fact that I was offering something else. And so he basically was like, look, if you got to do this or you're going to do that. I said, oh, so I got to pick. While everybody else in the company get to do other stuff. They doing real estate over here. They doing, okay, so if I got to pick, I choose me.
Right.
I choose me. I'm at the point, you got to think, 3 years life insurance. At this point, I'm transitioning out now. So I'm like, yo, I done killed it at the job for 8 years. 3 years, I'm 11 years in the game. Well, I done made 6 figures. So now I was doing life insurance. My first year, 110. Second year, like 150, almost 200,000. Third year, 200. Like I'm like, yo, I'm good. Now the mature me got money saved.
Right.
So now I'm like, bye.
Right.
See you later. I'm going to do, and I already have my other business running where I'm like, yo, I'm making 20, 30, 40, 50 grand. Nah, man.
You know what that's called?
Like, I'm out.
That's called FU money.
You see what I'm saying? So I had the opportunity to say, I'm out, peace. And it wasn't nothing disrespectful. It was all love. I'm like, because I'm a professional in every sense of the way. You never know when you need somebody. So I don't want to burn no bridge. I said, yo, this just doesn't work for me in the position and the place that I'm in my life right now. So I'm going to take the opportunity to go over here and run my own business. I'm going to let you guys have that. Whatever happens, happens. So like my team, they're like, yo, what you doing? So it was crazy. Like half or 50% of my team, give or take, they came and they left life insurance and started doing solar with me.
Wow.
So I was able to put them in the leadership role, pay them more money than they was making over there.
Right.
And it was good. And then I kind of transitioned out of that too because my calling was all about finances. Mm-hmm. So then that brought me back to, credit, what I'm doing now, and business credit and business funding. That brought me to starting my credit company because inside of solar, these people had to qualify for solar, which means they had to have a 650 credit score higher. So I'm like, well, what is it that I can do? What can I do to help these people? Mm-hmm. So I started referring them to a credit company. Then I said, well, if I know how to structure a business and run a business, why don't I start my own credit company?
Right.
And then that birthed my credit company. You see how this thing, I'm saying it just was happening.
You can't plan it any perfectly. You know what I'm saying? You just have to take one step, and then it all just lays itself out.
And I'm gonna say this because this is really gonna help somebody. A lot of people are out here, they say they hustling and they grinding for money and they working hard for money, then you're doing the wrong thing. I've never hustled and grind for my money. I just did what was comfortable for me or what I felt like was easy to me and hard to others. So when I got into life insurance, I said, I like this financial plan. I like this. This make me feel good. So when I was out there working 8 to 10 hours a day, I didn't feel like I was working. It made me mad when people didn't listen to the financial advice that I was giving them, the financial planning, and say, yes, I need that for me and my family.
Right.
Like I had a passion and a desire to get up to do this every single day. And when I transitioned, I went solo. I'm still helping people. I'm saving the money. I had a passion for that.
Right.
And then when I started my credit company, I'm like, yo, I like the smile. I like the way it make people feel, like how I'm helping people. I had a passion for that.
Right.
This is why I still do it to this day. I'm like, this stuff make me feel good. So I don't have to grind out to chase, and I don't have to go after money. Money come to me frequently and abundantly. Like this. So when people look at me and they say, well, yo, how's this man making X amount of many dollars a month and X amount of dollars? Yo, you're chasing it and it's coming to me.
Listen.
You're chasing it and it's coming to me.
Listen.
I'm not chasing money. The money chasing me.
Right.
To be honest, it chased me.
Right.
I get deposits and I'll be like, yo, this is crazy. Like, because my confidence, my level of understanding, my education, and what I do, it exudes. And people say, yo, like I like how he talk.
Right.
I like how he make me feel. You see what I'm saying?
I like how he makes me feel.
Because people ain't buying what you selling. They buying what you say. Ain't nobody buying products and services, man. They buying me. They buying you. When they sign up with you, they say, I could go get life insurance with somebody else. I can go and get somebody else to do my credit. But I like you. I like what you say. I like how you make me feel.
Absolutely.
It's an emotional connection. So all I'm doing is telling people, based upon my experience, based on my knowledge and understanding of what it is that I do, I'm just helping them purchase what I have to offer. But I ain't selling you nothing.
This so good.
I got nothing to sell.
This so good.
You know what I mean? I got nothing to sell.
So you're teaching people the side of business that you can never really learn unless you go through it.
You see?
Like, you know what the part of business that you're teaching is like is spiritual almost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's more about energy. It's about being magnetic. It's about attracting.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why people love you.
I appreciate it.
Listen.
I appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, that was
it.
so good. So, where are you today? What's going on with you today?
Yep.
You know, where can people follow you?
Yep.
What kind of, actually give us a bar. Let's talk about credit.
Okay,
Let's talk a little bit about credit. I know you do Metro too. I know a lot about credit. I ain't gonna lie. I heard you say Metro too. I'm like, what? I said, I know I'm far out of the game because I've never even heard of it. So talk to me about what you do.
Got you. So essentially, I help people attain a 700 credit score and 100K in, I would just say, credit or funding in 100 days. So this is what I do. And I do that by way of Metro 2 compliance, which is a form in which I help people understand the best way for a consumer to get items removed from their credit report. And I'll explain that. And then with the funding piece, that's all through just like me giving people the information and or mentorship and coaching to understand what are the correct banks to do business with. Right? So you got to go through a repairing process on your credit. Then you got to go through a building process on your credit. Then you got to actually bank with the right people. So people don't understand this sequence and this concept. So all I'm doing is just teaching people this sequence and this concept to put themselves in the best financial position as possible. And so when we backtrack and we look at, well, what is Metro 2? What is it? Like a lot of people, when I say it, they be like, I've never heard of this. I don't understand what it is. Let me give it to you guys in its simplest form. When we have items that report on our credit report, and or our credit consumer credit profile, essentially those items went through a compliance standard to even be reported, right? So what I'm doing is I'm not talking about factual dispute, which is most people do factual dispute, which is they say these items that are on my credit report, is it verifiable? Is it mine? Like, is it factual? Is it inaccurate? Mm-hmm. This is what we're talking about. I'm talking about on the way there, did it meet compliance standard to even get here? So when you send in a Metro 2 letter to the credit bureaus and a Metro 2 compliance, everybody can Google this. This was a standard that was put in place in 1997 by the CDIA, which is Trans, Experian, Equifax, and Innovis. They sat at the round table and said, we need some kind of compliance standard for these creditors when they send us stuff to report, because they getting paid to report it. But regardless of whether we're getting paid to report, we need some kind of consumer firewall in place that says that we met standards for this stuff to even be reported. The standard that they put in place is called Metro 2. Metro 2 was put in a system called eOscar that determines how items, whether they're going to be on your consumer credit report or not. So we send in letters to the credit bureau, me and you not reading it. We opening up the letter manually, but we don't have enough manpower to read 1 million letters in a day.
Right.
So they feed it through a machine called eOscar. eOscar compliance standard is called Metro 2 compliance. So when you put this letter through this web-based machine, it's going to read the codes, and the code is going to determine whether items can stay or not. And the coding and the communication is called Metro 2 compliance. It got to meet the standard to be reported. So when you send in a Metro 2 letter, you're basically telling the credit bureau, I know for a fact that you did not meet standards to report this item, so therefore it got to be deleted. And they don't argue because you're using the fire against fire. Right. They put the standard in place. You just send in a letter that speaks to their standard. Yeah. You speak in their language. They're like, ooh, this, I can understand. It's like, when you send in factual dispute, it's like they kind of get it, but they don't want to get it because they get paid to report items. Right. So they're like, nah, we get paid to report this. You have to come with a little bit more. You can come with a few more letters before we do anything. Right. But when you speak their language, you say Metro 2, they're like, yo, they know what they talk about. Yeah.
It's like hiring a lawyer that knows the law.
That's it.
And can speak to the law.
Yep.
I can't go into a courtroom and say how I feel.
Correct.
You have to bring facts and you have to bring laws. So
that's it. So Metro 2 is literally, it's speaking to the ability for items to be reported. Not that it's reported and I may or may not own it. I'm talking about, does this item, does it meet the requirements to be reported? If it don't meet these requirements, it's got to get deleted. Gotcha. And not 90% items it don't meet the requirements.
Gotcha. So let's go into funding. What does the funding cycle look like? And I know you talked about relationships, building with banks. Yeah. So if somebody was going through this repair and restorative process, where should we start, you know, when we're trying to build these relationships?
Yeah, so what I would say is this. Most business owners are really, most people that we deal with, that we see, they just get started. So we talk about startup individuals, and so with a startup, you're in a situation to where you don't have time in business, where most business, for you to get funding through a bank and just say your business ain't only, you need to have at least 2 years in business. They want to see your articles of incorporation showing 2 years. They want to see business bank statements and bank accounts at least the last 3 months. So you got to have a business bank account with at least $75,000 plus to go in it for them to even respect the fact or think that you can pay this money back. Because here's the idea. Most of these lines of credits and loans we get from these banks, there's no collateral. It's unsecured. Right. So why would you think that if you just started a business, you don't really got no income? Why would a bank want to give you a line of credit that you could just say, oh, it's in my business name. I don't have no liability. I'm running off. Right. If you can't provide and prove that you have tenure, you have income flowing, and you have done good business, then what they want you to do is now you got to have a personal guarantor, which could be you as the business owner. You could co-sign, hey, this is my business, but I'm a co-sign. Now you got a PG and co-sign. Now you got to make sure your personal credit is in order. Right. So this is why we got to repair and we got to rebuild. When you're going through the rebuilding process, you got to make sure, obviously, your credit profile looks a certain type of way. So you want me to get into break it down?
Please do.
All right, very minimum, 680 credit score at the minimum. You need to have no missed payments. So you can't have no missed payments. If you got that, you need to go through the credit repair process. You can't have no derogatory items or remarks on your credit profile. Credit utilization need to be less than 10%. You need to have more than 10 on-time positive paying accounts, and you need to have less than 5 inquiries. So now somebody out there saying, well, what if my credit profile looks 90% like that, but I'm missing a few things? You can still get approved and funded. You just may not get the maximum amount of money that the bank would potentially give you based upon how your credit profile is actually structured out, if that makes sense to you. So essentially, that's what it needs to look like. Once you've gotten your profile looking like that, then now you are ready to go into the bank and say, let me get the money. Like, I want to get a line of credit in my business name. It's going to report to just your business credit profile, but essentially, you're now in a place where you can co-sign for your bank. It's a concept of owning nothing and controlling everything. So I own nothing because everything is in my business name, my house, my car, all this stuff that I'm purchasing, but I control it because I am the business owner. Mm-hmm. So most people, they don't understand why you can't get to the level that you're trying to get in life is because you haven't started a business, you're not operating as a business owner, and if you are, you're not operating the right way, which means you need to separate yourself from your business. Operate as Dion here, operate as your business here.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so then there are certain banks. You need to go to banks that actually are going to support small business owners or individuals that are looking to get higher limits. Like most people run to Chase right away, BOA, and there's nothing against those banks, but the reality is that most banks are what's called for-profit. That means that they looking to gain. They looking to, hey, I'm gonna give you a low limit, or I'm gonna give you a little bit of money with a high interest rate because I want you to spend the money. I want to gain something.
Yeah.
You need to go to these credit unions because they are not for profit.
All right, drop some name on us. Let's get these relationships going.
All right, so
where the money at?
Yeah, they can go. They can go to Navy Federal. Obviously, is a good relationship
Always.
bank to build with.
Absolutely.
The really good part about them is if you don't have credit, you can build credit with them because you're in a situation to where you can get a pledge loan.
I'm learning so much about all the different products they have.
Yeah.
I did the pledge loan.
Then look, they secure card turns into
credit.
Yeah, they secure card turns into an actual credit card. So most people, they go and get a secure card and it's not converting. They got a convertible secure card where you started with a secure card backing your own money, but then now this same bank is going to turn in 90 days. They're going to give you an actual credit card with a line of credit. Yes. Then you go get a pledge loan and you pay it off in 90 days, and now they're willing to give you everything that they can offer. But this is a credit union. They are in the business to support individuals, whether it's a business, whether it's an individual, to give you the best opportunity. So they're going to give you the best odds of approval. Then they're going to give you the highest limit possible. Then you got to go to some of these small town banks. I give y'all a bank. Like you got like Community Bank. You got like you gonna give me? I gotta get a sauce away. You got FNBO, which is First National Bank of Omaha.
Yeah.
You go to these banks, they giving you. That was one of the banks I gave you, $15K.
Yeah.
Community Bank is giving people $15K. You go to Navy Federal, they give you a pretty nice limit as well, like $5, $10K when you get their credit card. So it's like you
Navy Federal.
Navy Federal, yeah.
I ain't seen nobody get under $20,000.
You see what I'm saying? But I'm talking about somebody that's just getting started, secure card, like it's. The opportunities is amazing, and people just don't know where to actually go. Like, you could go to DCU. DCU, they're giving you 10, 15, 20,000. Like, you can go to Penn Fed. And most of these banks, they do a pre-qualification. You can see if you pre-qualify for the card before you get a hard inquiry.
Right.
But why aren't you taking advantage of it? See, and this is what our mentor says. Our biggest expense in life is what we do not know. So when you get information, it'll change your financial situation along with implementation. So people got to take information. They got to execute or to implement. Don't just take notes. Be okay taking action. Like we be okay. Like we love education. Oh, but we allergic to taking action. It's just like, what's wrong with you? Stop taking notes and take some action. You know what I mean?
All right, so look, we done repaired our credit, restored it. And now we're building relationships.
Yep.
What do we do once we have this money? Once we got this credit lines, what are we doing next?
This is called monetization.
Yes.
This is taking the bag and actually flipping it. I'm going to tell you, when you get the bag, the very first thing that you got to do is you got to get a mentor. Yeah.
I think so.
Whatever field you want to go into, if you want to get into Airbnb, Turo, real estate, I don't care what you want to get into. Don't try to figure it out by yourself. Your first investment should be a mentor.
Yeah, so I want to kind of pause on that because I want to ask you, why do you feel that way, right? Yeah. You have been a successful employee for a long time, making six figures. Yeah. You started out in entrepreneurship, making six figures. Why do you think having a mentor was so important, when you get to the point where you can actually afford one?
Because I did it by myself for such a long time, especially my first 5.5 years of being an entrepreneur. And yes, I was making six figures, but when I got my mentor, shout out to Nehemiah Davis, when I got into his inner circle and got underneath his mentorship, that's when I consistently started. I went from 6 figures a year to now 6 figures a month. Like that, just the information that he provided me and the connections and all of that put me in position to where I was like, yo, I never knew none of this stuff. It's almost kind of like having a mentor is like the cheat code to life. If you're saying I'm stuck here, but I really want to be here, you got to get if you're looking at let's just say you want to get into real estate, you can see this guy, this girl making great money. You see them, it looks glamorous. If you fact check, because success and failure leaves clues, and success has receipts. If you see the receipts and you see the success and you see all of the clues, you need to contact that person and say, what do I got to do to get to be mentored by you? Pay whatever the cost is. Pay the cost to be the boss, because you're going to be a boss soon. They say 5K, 10K, 20K, 80K. I don't care what they say. You make the payment to that person because you're exchanging whatever value that they said, and you're going to exchange it for probably 10 to 20 times more. We talking about, if I said, hey, Shaniqua, If you give me $100, I give you $1,000 back. That would be an agreed situation, right?
10x, absolutely.
10x. If I say give me $1,000, I give you $10,000, you would agree, right?
Absolutely.
That's mentorship. But most people don't understand. They say, well, why I gotta give you $5K? You finna give me $5K, and I'm probably finna give you $500,000 worth of information and value.
Listen.
This is what we're talking about. So when I pay,
I'm actually on the losing end of this offer.
You see what I'm saying? I'm finna lose. You giving me $5K.
I'm giving you $500,000 in value.
Come on. So this is why I say that, because people don't have information. And if you lack information, you can't change your situation.
Right.
That's it. So again, your biggest expense in life is what you don't know. So you don't know stuff to take you from where you at to where you're looking to go. And the mentor is going to be that GPS. They're going to guide you from where you currently are to where you're looking to go. Like, we use a GPS system to get to our destination safely, the fastest route, the most cost-efficient route. So why wouldn't you get a mentor if they're going to be your GPS to 6 or 7 figures a year?
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Powerful. I love it.
Yeah, that's it.
So, are you a mentor?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, tell the people.
Gotcha.
How can they get in touch if they want to repair, restore, run the bag up with the credit?
Yeah.
How can they be mentored by you?
So, I mean, you can follow me on IG at Mr. Phenomenal Power. My Facebook name is my regular name, Dion Coopwood. Just reach out to me. If you click the link in my bio, everything is there. All my mentorship program, my courses, everything that I have to offer is 100% there. And, you know, my specialty is just teaching people how to really, like, just duplicate themselves and become like a me. Like, I want people to actually mentor, train, and develop people. But even if you just say, yo, I just want to repair my own credit, I can help you do that. If you say, I want to start a credit repair company, I want to help others, and I want to, you know, run up my bag, I can help you do that as well. But all you guys got to do is just tap in with me, and I got you. I got you.
And as you can see, he's teaching y'all a whole lot more than business. This brother done went into some spiritual things, and quite frankly, I know these corporations will pay you millions of dollars to come in and train their sales team.
They would.
Y'all better get them while you can
and
still afford them.
And just really quick, I need y'all to, everybody, I want y'all to text DTD to 74121. That link is going to literally, it's going to send you a link back, and you're going to be able to see everything that I have to offer as well. So that'll be the easiest way to be able to tap in with me. Again, text DTD to 74121. Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
Well, thank you, King. I appreciate you for coming through.
No problem, no problem.
That is this week's episode of Black Wealth Weekly. I'm your host, Shaniqua Nicole, the Millennial Money Maven, and I can't wait to talk to you guys next week. Yeah.